Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to my shop. And boy, it's been a crazy Christmas season here this year. As you may well know from seeing other videos, I had a big power outage right through Christmas, like so many people did in the Toronto area after a big ice storm. And so I really haven't been in my shop to do radio work for, could it be 2 weeks? The last time I shot a repair video was on the 21st. Today's the 29th, I think. No, today's the 30th. So that's 9 days. Seems like a lot longer because, man, it's been a weird odyssey. So let's get back to it here. Let's get back to it. What's next on the agenda is 2 or 3 things. One is I have to fix the wires on this coil, which are down there. My last video showed that. And then I made this repair here. Right down in here. And I'm not too happy with it. I watched back the video after reading some of the comments, and I have to agree. It really looks like I did not get a good solder job on the 2 lead wires. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to try those again. But before I do that, the third thing I want to do is I want to epoxy these 2 insulating standoffs, or whatever they're called. Epoxy them into place. Because I'm worried they're going to come loose. Somebody may tug on this wire again someday and yank them loose and the whole thing's shot again. So we don't want that to happen. So those are the 3 things. I think I'm going to start with trying to do this coil. Because once I have this coil done, everything is working, even if it's not in the best of condition. So, lots of fiddly little work ahead of us here. Or as I like to call it, microsurgery. Let's see if I can get the camera in here somewhere where it's not in my way. And yet. Hey, look at that. How about that? Good. I like that. Okay, now there is a plate right here. You can just see the edge of it down here. I just realized I can remove that plate and give myself just a wee bit more working room. Because I need all the room I can get here. Shot of what I'm doing here. So I'm taking this plate off. Better be careful. I tend to forget to put these things back on after I'm all done. So I have another plate off this radio already. That's the cover plate for the FM. I won't forget that one. Now we got looks like a lot more space to work in here. Looks that way anyway. You know, I could even remove this capacitor here. Get it out of the way if I really wanted to. But I don't think I will. Okay. Hold on tight while I get the camera in place here. There we are. And I'm going to put on the manual focus because the automatic focus sometimes just doesn't help much. There we go. There we are, and I need this myself because I need to see what's going on. Let's try the TV zoom on this, the camera zoom. It's not zooming. What happened to the zoom on my camera? Well, maybe I have to click apply. Would that be the case? Huh. Looks like the zoom's not zooming on my camera, so I'll leave it as it is and let's get on with the work. Man, I'm fiddling around doing everything but the actual work. Now, I got a whole bunch of X-Acto knives here. Nice set. And I try to pick the right blade here. And I've got blades in here, they've never been used. So they should be pretty much like new. Okay. Now, you don't know how to approach this other than to start poking away at it. The problem here is I'm going to try to scrape the insulation off the wire there. And I can't even get this knife to bite into the insulation if the wires are just hanging there in space. They have to be backstopped somehow. And what would be a great material for doing that? Something I could shove in there and would stay in place. A little what? A little piece of plastic. Let's see what I can find here. Okay, so I've got a tool here which we're going to try. Whoops, bumped my camera there. The camera wire's hanging by my knee, so I bumped it. Now, here comes the backstop tool. Who can guess what this actually is? Okay, there's the wires out front. Now, so what I'm hoping here is just this constant abrading of the insulation will cause it to come off. Take much to cut that wire. There's the wire. You know, one of the ideas I had was to open a little hole, just like I have now, and pull that wire out. I mean, I've done that in other circumstances, but never on something this tiny. See, each time I do this too, I move the wire, I'm tugging it downward, I'm running the risk of breaking it up here at the top, or worse yet, pulling it right out. Or am I done and I'm still scraping because I can't see with my eyes, but on camera it looks like the insulation's off. Let's move that aside, bring this one over. Oh, that came right off. So, I think I got two bare wires there now. Oh, this wasn't so tough. They look like stranded wires, don't they? You know, this could be Litz wire, where they actually have a number of strands individually insulated, but wow, that would be pretty tiny stuff. I don't think that's the case. So I think that might be good enough to solder. Now, how are we going to solder it? Do those reach? Now, if it looks like I'm being a little awkward here with moving this, it's because I'm watching it on a TV screen, and wow, they are close, aren't they? So I could solder in a wire extension vertically to meet those wires, and you know, I think that might be a good idea. And then solder to the wire extension. Problem is though, the wire extension won't stay in place. They try to put this whole thing together, a little piece of wire to extend the connector. They try to hook it up to the other wires somehow, get the whole thing there, and then solder the whole shebang. That sounds more possible. Because it's a really big lug. It's not really apparent in the camera shot, but this lug down here is pretty big, and I think I can wrap a wire around it. Let's see what I got for a wire here. Yeah, so this is the kind of wire I would use. I'm going to get a piece of this quite thin copper wire. Pull off some insulation. Give me a nice long piece of it to work with, because I can always cut off the excess later. And I just gotta there we are. So now I got a nice piece of copper wire here, which I'm going to attempt to wrap around that terminal to give it mechanical stability prior to soldering. This will be plenty tricky. So I'm going to make a loop in the wire. I'm going to try to do this kind of like catching a rabbit. You make a loop and the rabbit's head goes through the loop, and then the loop pulls tight on the poor rabbit. Poor rabbit, eh? How come I'm picking on rabbits today? I have nothing against rabbits, believe me. Okay. My fingers cannot get down in there holding anything. It's all too small, so I'm going to have to use tools all around. So there we are. Okay, I'm trying to, oops. It's not a very strong piece of copper. I'm trying to get it over the rabbit's head, so to speak. Let's try it again. I'm doing stuff like this. I'm always thinking to myself, you know what, there's probably a really easy way of doing this, and I'm doing this in the crazy hardest way you can think of. That's all I got in my head. Gotta go with what I got. Wait a minute. Okay, so new design on the loop here. I put the loop at one end of this wire, and now I'm going to put the loop right in the middle. I don't know if I got enough wire here. There. Okay, so I'm going to, let's try again. There we go. Once again, the close-up doesn't, not much movement on a close-up until I'm right in the frame of the shot. Jeez, I'm talking like a movie producer here. Quiet on the set! Now I've used the wrong pliers here. Okay, I need the long pliers to hold it in place. And then the other pliers to pull the noose down, so to speak. Go around the bottom. Come on. Oh no, there's a wire right there. Okay, plan failed completely. Failure. It's a little like the rabbit's leash is in the way, and I can't get the loop over its head here. So I gotta sneak the wire around behind the. This is stupid. This is crazy. Ooh, I gotta get this wire. By the time I get this wire in place, it'll be so worn out it'll break. Get it around behind. There we go. Around behind. Get a grip of it. gosh, what are you looking at? I didn't see that. You're studying my tool wall? Wait a minute. Here, get back on this exciting moment here. Too much to look at once. Well, I got the wire looped around. That's pretty good. Got the wire looped around. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to solder it down in place. And then solder the other wires to it. Okay, so that's... I can move those aside. Okay, Mr. Solder. Yeah, I see what it is. I keep hooking the... oh, I see the problem here. Camera wire keeps getting hooked on my knee. There we go. Is that something you'd like your doctor to say to you someday? The operation didn't go well. I kept getting the camera hooked on my knee. Yeah. Good thing you got two of them, Bill. Okay, here we go. Okay, that certainly soldered up nicely, I'm quite sure. Let's just tug on the wire now and see what we got. Okay, so wire extension idea going well. Now the trick is to make these wires connect to that wire. I got to take off more of the insulation. The more bare wire I've got, the better this is going to go. And since the insulation removal was easy, nurse, will you hand me that scalpel, please? Okay, does anybody know what the orange tool is yet? Here it comes again. I'll give you a hint. I got this out of the kitchen. If I showed you the other end of this, I think you'd know right away what it is. If you've ever seen one, you'd know. It's a nice kind of plastic. It's that plastic that feels, has a little bit of a soft feel to it. Just... sure hope I'm... So I'm doing this with a combination of looking straight at it with my unaided eyes and looking up at the screen. It's like I got it off the back, off the front rather, but didn't get it off the back. A little tiny piece hanging there. So if you watch my power outage videos, then you know I powered up my furnace burner, kept my house warm. But guess what? I was up till 1 o'clock last night fixing my gas furnace. Not because I'd done anything to it. I didn't break it. But all this studying and observation and I noticed something I've never noticed before. I just got your basic 3-burner forced air gas furnace from the 1960s. So I mean, it's a very common thing. I'm sure you've seen one. Maybe you have. Hey, look at that! Hey! Ha! Okay, that's what I wanted to see. Big bare wire there. Excellent. I'll go back to this one. Well, last night I was looking in at it, and I noticed the 3 burners weren't the same. The 2 outside burners had full flame on it, but the middle burner only had flame on the front third of the burner. The back third, which is very hard to see, back 2/3, because of the flame in the front, was not flaming. And so, because I'm not a trained furnace repair guy, I'm just one of these handyman guys with access to YouTube and a bit of a brain, And after much fiddling around, I determined that the problem was failure to clean the bottom of the heat exchanger where the burner sits, because the middle burner is not accessible easily because of the pilot light and other stuff's right in front of the opening. You can't get, guess what, you can't get your vacuum hose in there. Even a special, I used a flexible rubber hose. It doesn't go in there very well. You know what, I'm not getting any more off of this, am I? I think I'm just scraping copper, so let's go at it from this angle here. Well, turns out if you let too much debris build up in the bottom of your heat exchanger in your gas furnace, well, that part just under the burner, the space under the burner, is actually where the fresh air comes in to reach the flame on the burner. And if that cavity, if you like, is filled up with, it's a white powdery material, a white flaky material, soot that falls from the heat exchanger periodically. You don't vacuum that out or get it out of there, you can't get fresh air in. No fresh air in, no flame. So when I figured all that out, I just made a new kind of vacuum cleaner extension, if you like. Great thing is the furnace is basically in my shop here, so it's pretty handy. I vacuumed out that debris and presto, burner's working properly. Now I'm embarrassed to say, I'll bet you that burner's been blocked like that for a long, long time. Hey, and you know what also glued me into this whole thing? Here, I'm going to try to attach these wires now. Was the odd odor coming out of our furnace. And if you have a gas furnace, you know the first time you turn it on in the fall, you get this funny smell comes out of it. A very distinct smell. And that smell, I'm sure, is dust that's collected on the heat exchanger burning off. And maybe even in the ducts a little bit, stuff like that. Well, we start smelling that again. Well, how can this be? I'm halfway through the heating season here. How can it be that we're smelling the... we're smelling that? Well, I think the answer is because the flame was going in someplace new. Because the flame couldn't travel properly, or wasn't, what's the word, propagated properly down the burner. Yeah, that's probably good enough like that. There we go, look at that. This is pretty good. This is going to work. Jeez, even I'm impressed. Okay, need some solder. Because the flame wasn't traveling down the burner, it was heating up a different part of the heat exchanger that doesn't normally get heated, or heating up part of the heat exchanger higher than it normally gets heated, and burning off some more dust that never normally gets burned off. And that's what got me looking at the burner, because I was thinking, oh, what the heck's going on with this furnace? Now basically, if you're not experienced like me, you can look right at something that an experienced person would say, well, there's the problem. Look. But if you're not experienced, you can be staring right at the problem and not recognize it as a problem. For instance, I didn't think about the debris that was in the bottom of the burner. I didn't understand how the whole thing worked. Now, let's see. I think I got this soldered. Let's see if I did. Okay, I'm going to wiggle the wire and see if it... Hey, it looks good. Now I'm going to trim the excess off that, because I don't think we want that hanging out there. There it goes. Now, did I cut too much off? No, I don't think so. Hey. No, it looks loose. I'm gonna solder that some more. See if I can get a blob of solder onto that. Great idea though, extending the wire up. That was definitely the magic here. Let's see if I can get a hold. I'm gonna have to do this looking at the computer screen. No, I can't. I can't do it. No 3D. Can't do it. That looks like a big blob of solder to me. By Jove, I think he's done it. That was for my UK viewers, by the way. Yes. How are my humor lessons coming through? Are they working? Yeah. Well, I think we're ready for another test. A test of the radio. Yeehaw. Untangle this camera. Hang on tight. Hang on tight. Here we go. Sorry for all that shaking around here. Hey, how about a little focus on that camera? How about a little focus? Somebody show me focus. Focus, focus, there's the focus. See what a good mood I'm in today? Man alive. All because everything's back to normal here. And I did want to try resoldering those, but I'm just going to hold off for now. Because I want to give this thing a try. Ooh, a couple things we got to do. One is we got to hook up an antenna. No, neither of these are to ground. So. For those of you who may not know this, there is a right way to put a wire under a screw. A right way and a wrong way. If you do it the right way, you need the right screwdriver. If you do it the right way, the screw will pull the wire under tighter as you tighten it up. If you do it the wrong way, the screw will push it out. If you just think about that for a minute, you'll figure out how that works. And if you don't realize this for some reason, then you can spend quite a bit of frustrating time trying to get wires to go under screws. They keep pushing out. Okay, so there's our FM antenna connection, and the AM antenna. When we want it, we're just going to jumper over here. Use the same antenna. I mean, this is not I'm not using a proper FM antenna. I'm actually using my dipole shortwave antenna. But no problem. Should be no problem. Oh, speaker. Now we got to hook up the speaker again. Tip this up. That's good. And our speaker here. So the big gifts around here this year were smart TVs. I got a smart TV in my office, got rid of the old glass bulb guy I had, and wow, it's really cool. I'm watching YouTube videos on my television. I can call up the video on my computer and just click once and it plays it on my TV. It's pretty cool stuff. Okay, speaker's connected. Let's do it so we can put this down. Sorry, you can't see this, can you? Because I'm working behind. That's okay, you're not missing much there. Just a couple clip leads going on the speaker outputs. Anybody guessed what my orange tool is yet? Yeah, I'll show you the other end. There's the other end of it. Okay. Speaker connected, antenna connected, volume down. We're ready. We are ready. Plugging it in. Power, this is being operated through an isolation transformer, and I'm on power restriction. On it comes. So that's it. There's nothing to warm up. Okay, so this is FM.
There's still people in this city that don't have power. I saw that this morning in the news, and my gosh, the power problem that we had during the ice storm just hangs on and on and on. And I think we all know people who've really been affected by it majorly. Not fun at all, and quite serious. I personally know a fellow whose house didn't get power back until just the other day, just Sunday, as a matter of fact, Saturday. And you help out where you can, and your neighbors are having troubles. Always a good idea. And I was listening to Brad Barker last week, and he was...
Okay, no question. FM working good. Now we'll try AM. This is the real test here. AM. Oh, AM got to jumper the antenna. Almost forgot that. Okay, fingers are crossed. Here we go. Ooh, that's a loud phooey. Oh. Well, that's something. This is like so many AM radios that they don't behave well in this shop at all. We're at the top of the band here. Okay, not good. Very, very disappointing result. Sounds like I don't have an antenna connection. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, sounds like a very ineffective antenna. I'll take my antenna jumper and I'll jump it further up here. A little bit of radio there. Okay, well, I'm not so sure what's going on there. That there's a big antenna coil here. That's a little better, right? Oh, that's kind of weird. Okay, but if I put this on the proper antenna input... Oh! What? Oh my. What clueless thing am I doing here? Yeah, everybody's talking about the power outage. That's funny, when I attach the antenna, it goes dead. It's very odd here. But anyway, it is definitely working. So I can turn my attention back to improving these two connections and epoxying this. But I think I'm going to post this up on the internet and carry on after that. So anyway, I think it's successful. Geez, after a little more fiddling around here, it's just a matter of cleaning up the front. And we're done on this guy.